Hello and welcome to Sea Rock. So I've been reading the book 1984 by George Orwell lately, and after reading, I think what is part of chapter 9 in part 2, I thought I might go ahead and reread some of it and put it down. It's pretty good, I think. So here's the excerpt that I wanted to read. War, it will be seen, accomplishes the necessary destruction, but accomplishes it in a psychological, acceptable way. In principle, it would be quite simple to waste the surplus labor of the world by building temples and pyramids, by digging holes and filling them up again, or even by producing vast quantities of goods and then setting fire to them. But this would provide only the economic and not the emotional basis for a hierarchical society. That what is concerned here is not the moral of the masses, whose attitude is unimportant, so long as they are kept steadily at work, but the moral of the party itself. Even the humblest party member is expected to be competent, industrious, and even intelligent within narrow limits. But it is also necessary that he should be a credulous and ignorant fanatic, whose prevailing moods are fear, hatred, adulation, and orgiastic triumph. In other words, it is necessary that he should have the mentality appropriate to a state of war. It does not matter whether the war is actually happening, and since no decisive victory is possible, it does not matter whether the war is going well or badly. Well, that is needed is that a state of war should exist. The splitting of the intelligence which the party requires of its members, and which is more easily achieved in an atmosphere of war, is now almost universal. But the higher up the ranks one goes, the more marked it becomes. It is precisely in the inner party that war, hysteria, and hatred of the enemy are the strongest. In his capacity as an administrator, it is often necessary for a member of the inner party to know that this or that item of war news is untruthful. And he may often be aware that the entire war is suspicious and is either not happening or is being waged for purposes quite other than declared ones. We approach real life. But such knowledge is easily neutralized by the technique of doublethink. You may proceed to laugh now at how real it is. Meanwhile, no inner party member wavers for an instant in all his mystical belief that the war is real and that it is bound to end victoriously with Oceania and the undisputed master of the entire world. And I will continue. All members of the inner party believe in this coming conquest as any article of faith. It is to be achieved either by gradual acquiring more and more territory and so building up an overwhelming prejudiceness of power, or by the discovery of some new and unsensible power weapon. The search for new weapons continues increasingly and is one of the very few remaining activities in which the inventive or speculative type of mind can find any outlet. In Oceania, at the present day, science in the old sense has almost ceased to exist. In newspeak, there is no word for science. The empirical method of thought on which all the scientific achievements of the past were founded is opposed to the most fundamental principles of insomniac, and even technological progress only happens when its products can in some way be used for the demonization of the human liberty. Demonization. Yeah, my best guess. In all the useful arts, the world is either standing still or going backwards. The fields are cultivated with horse plows, with books, while books are written by machinery. But in matters of vital importance, meaning in effect war and policy espionage, the empirical approach is still encouraged, or at least tolerated. The two aims of the party are to conquer the whole surface of the earth and to extinguish once and for all the possibility of independent thought. I know it's too real, is it now? There are therefore two great problems with the party is a concern to solve. One is how to discover against his will what another human being is thinking, and the other is how to kill several hundreds of millions of people in a few seconds without giving warning beforehand. In so far as scientific research still continues, this is its subject matter. The scientists of today is either a mixture of psychologist and inquisitor studying with real ordinary minuteness the meaning of facial expressions, gestures, and tones of voice, and testing the truth, producing effects of drugs, shock therapy, hypnosis, and the psychical torture. Or he is chemist, a physicist, or biologist concerned only with such branches of his special subject as are relevant to the taking of life. In the vast liberties of the Ministry of Peace, and in the experimental stations hidden in the Brazilian fortress, or in the Australian desert, or on the lost islands of the Atlantic, the teams of experts are indefatigably at work. Some Some are concerned simply with planning the logistics of the future wars. Others devise larger and larger rocket bombs, more and more powerful explosives, and more impenetrable armor planting. Others search for new and deadlier gases or for soluble poisons capable of being produced in such quantities as to destroy the vegetation of whole continents, or for breeds of disease, germs immunized against all possible antibodies. Others strive to produce a vehicle that shall bore its way under the soil like a submarine, under the water, or an aeroplane as independent as its space. As a sailed ship, others explore even remoter possibilities, such as a focus the sun's rays through a lens suspended through thousands of kilometers away in space, or producing artificial earthquakes and tidal waves but trapped in the heat at the Earth's center, as the gods would have done. I added that last little part. It needed to be dead. So, that is one excerpt. And I do have one more. And this is from another excerpt that I liked. This one I thought was pretty good, actually. So, this is later on in the same chapter. And I'll read this one too. Here we go. It is absolutely necessary to their structure that there should be no contact with foreigners, except to a limited extent with war prisoners and colored slaves. Even the official ally of the moment is always regarded with the darkest suspicion. War prisoners apart, the average citizen of Oceania never sets eyes on a citizen of either Eurasia or East Asia. They've never fucking seen each other. And he is forbidden the knowledge of the foreign languages. If he were allowed contact with the foreigners, he would discover that they are creatures similar to him, and that most of what he has been told about them is lies. The sealed world in which he lives would be broken, and the fear, hatred, and self-righteousness on which his moral depends might evaporate. It is therefore realized on all sides that however often Persia, or Egypt, or Java, or Ceylon, Ceylon, may change hands, the main frontiers must never be crossed by anything except bombs. Now please reflect on how real that sounds with the current state of existence. Thank you for listening. Comment, like down below. This was a great excerpt, I think, from this book that I will continue to read. And I will give a formal review when done. But the one book for this month will end up being something else because I'm not done with this one yet. I had finished Total War Rome, Destroy Carthage a while back, and I wanted to do that. It seemed it was fitting since I am getting destroyed in Carthage right now anyways by my cousin. But anyways, in the game. So, thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and see you later. Bye. Peace to everyone.